In this video, you're going to see behind my shoulder as I build over 20 mobile designs from a UI kit. Now, the best part about this video is that I'm actually giving away an entire UI kit for free. So that's a massive freebie which you can download in the source file below. I'm also going to give you some tips and tricks on how to tackle mobile designs in the best and most efficient way. So stick to the end of the video as you're going to learn all sorts of different things. And without further ado, let's get started. All right, so let's get started and let's bring all this UI kit, which again is going to be available for free in the link below. And you can find it either in the link in the description or in the comments. But again, giving it away for free. And the very first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm just going to create another page which is going to contain all of the mobile designs, and the way I do it is I simply duplicate the initial UI kit, since that's just going to make it easier. I really like to create the mobile version by having the screens on the right and just moving the mobile version on the left, or even vice versa. That totally works. But the main concept that I'm trying to get at is that I want to have like the entire overview side by side, so I don't have to kind of like juggle between the pages in Sketch, as that might take more time and effort, which it's not really needed. So the very first thing that I'm gonna do in the mobile version is actually create the top header, and for the top header I'm just going to go with a very simple solution. I'm going to use a hamburger icon on the very right, since it's a very common UX pattern, and I just like to keep things easy and clean. With the top hamburger icon, you can just click on it and a menu can appear. So pretty straightforward. And again, guys, this is not a project for a client. So usually if I were to tackle a client project, the UX and the strategy involved is going to be much more intensive. Also, I would be more careful about things like the layout. I would like to sync up with the developers to be sure that we are essentially on the same line when it comes to the grids. So I always want to double check with them in order to be sure that I'm creating a rock solid foundation for them to implement. Also, another tip and advice that I would give you is if you need to create a lot of mobile screens and you're starting from scratch, so it's the first iteration of the mobile version in a client project, my recommendation would be to actually send the very first mobile screen to the developer and just double check with them and see if all is good. Because if you're like 10 mobile screens in, and maybe like the developer doesn't really like the way that the layout is built, or the columns, or maybe like the text size is off, you kind of want to check all those things prior in order to avoid having to mass adapt all the other screens. So just a quick word of advice, since I've been doing this for many years and I know the feeling of having to undo or adjust many screens, and I want you to avoid that pain. So that's that, and as you can see, the way that I'm creating the mobile screens, since I need to create a lot of them, and I'm not really like gonna get any sort of reward. This is not going to be implemented direct, like from a developer point of view. So I'm going to freestyle a little bit more than usual. So as you can see, I'm just dragging the screens around, and the elements around, and trying to adapt and I've built so many mobile screens that at this point I kind of have an idea of the typography and how things might look in the mobile version. But my word of advice is to always check the mobile version inside your mobile phone. So it's very easy. You can either use a application like Sketch Mirror in order to do that, and you can literally prototype. You can see the live prototype in your phone, which is amazing. But if you want to go with maybe you don't want to use Sketch Mirror, or you're using another design software, or for whatever reason it's not working and you want to try another way. The other way that I would recommend you to try is simply export a JPEG, send yourself an email, so from the desktop to the to your mobile phone, or if you're using a Mac, you can simply use AirDrop, since that's going to make it super easy to just send over a JPEG on your phone. And then open up the phone and open up the image on the phone and just see if it's working in proportions. So very quick and easy way to check that the fonts, the typography works in mobile, that the elements proportions work in mobile. Because sometimes, if you're working on a bigger screen on desktop and as you're designing, maybe it's gonna look great. You think this is looking really good, but then when you import it into your mobile phone, it's maybe like the proportions are off, like the typeface is either too big or too small. And maybe a solution that you thought could have worked, maybe a carousel, gallery, or image, is not going to really work all that well after all. So definitely something to keep in mind. You want to keep things as simple as you can in mobile version. You don't want to overcomplicate it, and the main reason is that you have less options in the mobile and you're using the thumb or your fingers most of the times. So you need to take in consideration things like having larger touch areas, and also you just want to try and reduce the clutter as much as you can. So you can just copy and paste each and everything that you're doing in the desktop version to the mobile version, but you have to create a custom solution around it, and you really want to try and think about the UX. And again, guys, it's not a client project. Usually if it's a client project, we would have even meetings about certain areas of the mobile design, or we would take in consideration some other strategy and identity and also UX elements in the equation. But for the time being, the main goal was just to create some good looking mobile versions in this UI kit and give it all away for free, so that you can use it for whatever project that you want, both for client or a personal portfolio project. So yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot going on. Have like some graphs here which we are adapting, and one of the things which I'm trying, of course, there's the ambulance as I'm recording the video. Sorry for that, guys. And as what I was about to say was that you always want to try and make the elements really flow well within the mobile context, and you always want to just give it a try and check it out on your mobile phone as you're working on it. Now, another thing to keep in mind here is that I actually did some prior work when it comes to the responsiveness part of this mobile app. So in the desktop version, I actually created several responsive elements, which are a really cool feature in Sketch, because they essentially allow you to have a responsive to actually adapt all of these elements in a faster way compared to if you had the elements in a not set to the responsive resize. So definitely something to consider. Although I would say that if you're creating these type of dashboards, the best wins you're going to get when you're going to translate it to tablet. Sometimes in mobile, as you can see, we'll need to just readjust the design entirely, or partially, since there's not the infinite amount of things that you can do really when it comes to that. So yeah, definitely something to keep in mind. Now let me take a sip of coffee. I just, I wouldn't say I just woke up. It's actually, this is actually third coffee of the day, and I'm feeling really, really good. I never go over the third cup of coffee, otherwise it's too much, I found. But anyways, hope this video is going to be helpful for some of you guys, and feel free to leave comments below if you have questions. I always try to reply to the comments, and if you're interested in more of these type of tutorials, feel free to check out my other videos they have on my YouTube channel. There are like 300 videos, and I've been a UI UX designer for over 8 years now, working for the vast majority of these years remotely 100%. And while I was working remotely, I worked with over 30 clients from all around the world, from large companies to small startups. Tried it all, and I basically, I would consider myself pretty successful at this point, especially this year. Had a big jump and boost, and yeah, had the pleasure to work with a lot of great clients, really. And I try to basically share my best tips and advice on how you can do it as well. If you're just starting out, it's going to take a while. I don't really endorse get rich quick things. That's not how it works for me, at least. Definitely a lot of hard work, definitely a lot of trial and error. But one thing that I know for sure is that if I were to go back in the time machine, I would definitely avoid all sorts of different things. And in my videos, my goal is to basically help you out in order so that you can get where I am faster. So yeah, I'll just leave you with some music now, as I think I'm just starting to rambling. So I guess the music is going to give a little bit of more quality to the ending part. Cool. So again, guys, if you're interested in more videos, I have 300 plus videos on YouTube channel, and I'll leave you with some good music.